VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Yes, here we go. Follow the money. Paulie Howard, Mike Paul, Mitch on vacation, ready to rock and roll. Big show coming up. Jeff Seeley smelling himself. Had a 20-1 shot that came in. We'll talk golf. You cannot be serious with Mike Palm. Can't wait for that. Man About Town, Anthony Curtis to recap going around Super Bowl weekend, all the different properties and parties, and a unbelievable college hoop schedule tonight. Dallin Cuffey, ESPN, with 4 picks and to go over the marquee games in 2 segments. Not enough as well. Top 5 Tuesday. Big show coming up. A lot to get to. Looking forward to it as well. And we're going to rock and roll. Maestro, good to see you. Great thing you have the VP of Circa. And perfect timing as we have breaking news that the Super Bowl handle in Nevada down 20% from last year, which was a record handle, $151 million bet. And we kept hearing it from people who work here and all over town. Nick kept bringing up, you take the money line out of the game, and certainly it was disappointing what happened, and that turned out to be true with the handle.
Exactly, and I told you and Mitch last Wednesday, you said, how is it? I said, it's disappointing so far. When you look at it last year, we took 2 $1 million bets, both one on each side, and I believe 7 $500,000 bets. There were no $1 million bets this year, and there were 4 $500,000 bets. So right there, you're down $3.5 million. Overall, we were down about $2 million, which is about 15%. So a little less than the state as a whole. But obviously, as you said in your report, I mean, the record win, because the statewide 16% hold, we held about 10% here.
Okay. Not bad. Excellent.
Not bad.
You also mentioned what you got beat up on and some liability as well. So what was a big surprise with what happened when you looked at ran the numbers?
Well, I know that we opened Hertz and Barkley at 3-1, and it went down to 260 and up to 335. But it was a pretty bad result for us. Hertz for MVP, that was one of our big losers. I didn't know how much people had bet Cooper DeJean. I really didn't. And if he had won MVP, we would have had no win at all in this thing.
Wow.
I mean, it would have wiped out the whole win. I know Mitch at halftime was looking at the live MVP odds on a couple of his apps, and he was saying, I want to pull the trigger. I think he had it around 4 to 1, 4.5 to 1 he was looking at. I said, but the problem is Hertz is going to have to turn the ball over maybe twice in the second half to be discredited. Because he was doing it with his legs as well.
That's right.
And it's tough to split it when the pass rush is dominant too, unless DeJean had some other touchdown. Anyhow, that the DeJean anytime touchdown was a bad result for us as well. And then we had one pro bettor that max bet all the alts on the Eagles. So the margin of victory wasn't great. Overall, we got the right side to win. We won with the squares. We won with a lot of the matchups. So can't complain. And the parties were all great, and they filled up late. Bar Canada only had like 30% of the seats sold going in, and that's one of our smaller parties, 150. But we only had like, I don't know, 85 seats sold. It filled it up on day of, and we ended up filling up all the parties, and DLV got close to 10,000.
Great.
Yeah.
And Mitch had a phenomenal time at the party, he said.
He was blown away.
As well. Yeah. Couldn't believe it, how great it was. So you guys do it
well, the choice
top-notch.
of food was really good.
That's what he said.
The variety was really outstanding.
Got to set the tone.
best that I've ever seen.
What'd you have?
For a variety of food. I mean, we had all kind of different. You had a whole like brat hot dog station unto itself. You had all different kind of burgers, barbecue sandwiches, and that. Then you had a whole Mexican setup. If you wanted Mexican food, you had a salad station, you had a dessert station. There were long lines at all of them.
Mm-hmm. Great. The other thing, too, was imagine if Barkley scores and or he goes over as well. I mean, that's just enormous that, with the same game parlays that we talked about yesterday, that he was on 35% of them at one property, that he doesn't score a touchdown and they hold him in check. And like Aaron Redding said yesterday, you get 62 points scored, and most players go under with their props and how it turned out to be. So what else did you think of the game and when you thought Kansas City was finished?
I thought still at 10-0 they were okay. Well, let's not forget the punt game too for Philadelphia. They kept them pinned in the whole half. But then when he threw the interception to DeJean, it started to feel like they didn't trust themselves. There were plays, 2nd and 12, and they ran a little draw play. They're not running a little draw play on 2nd and 12 the whole year, Kansas. But they knew he couldn't go drop back again and face 3rd and 12 or 3rd and 15.
Turnstile.
It was so bad.
Yep.
And
you saw that before halftime, too.
Before the half.
And the Eagles were that confident. The Eagles had the ball at the 40-yard line with time and timeouts. They're like, no, we'll just go to half.
Kneel down. We're good.
Yeah, I know. And they were. They had it right. So, yeah, you're right about no time to throw. And they just harassed them all game as well. What did Scott Pritchard decide to do?
So Scott Pritchard, it's funny because I do a radio show in Iowa that we tape on Tuesdays, and it airs on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And he's a guest every week. Before the season started, the last show we did before week 1, he said it's Chiefs over Eagles in the Super Bowl. He didn't bet it at that point. He didn't bet it. And Humans, who bet the Eagles at 16-1, before the season started, Eagles over Chiefs was 60-1. If humans would have went down that road. Anyhow, after week 5, Scott Pritchard, who finished second in humans Friday night contest a year back, bet $5,000 at 50-1 on the exact result, Chiefs over Eagles. So he stood to win $250,000. He ended up hedging at different points with plus money on the Eagles, trying to create middles. +2, +3.5, +7.5. He made wagers that if what happened, the worst result, the Eagles win the game, he still got $90,000 back. And so he was hedging about 40% of it, but he had a lot of middles there too. He had middles all the way from 1 to 7, just couldn't get there. So at the end of the day, he makes $85,000 off the bet. Not bad.
Yeah, I think people are surprised by how big that is. People love the exactas here.
They're terrific.
Yeah,
I mean, we had $10 million liability, Chiefs over Packers.
That's nuts. Isn't that something? Crazy. So follow the money. Paulie and Mike Palm from beautiful Circa Hotel and Resort downtown. Great time. We'll tell you about how to stay here and get 15% off coming up. Sirius XM Channel 158, the VSiN Watch app, as well. In the breaking news, the handle in Nevada down 20% from last year. Nevada books held 14.6% in the Eagles blowout. The other big news today, Kellen Moore officially named head coach of the Saints. And Adam Schefter has a list, top 5 most interesting teams headed in the next year. He has New Orleans number 3. $60 million over the cap. See what Moore can do. Did you think that was the right hire? And do you think that they belong on this list, considering I don't have a lot of expectations for him? What say you?
I don't have any either.
No.
I mean, give him 3 years and see what he can do. But as far as the next year team, they wouldn't be in my top 5.
Yep. Number 1 is Cincinnati. What happens with Higgins? You have to pay Chase. You have to pay Hendrickson. You love this. Lose out. New defensive coordinator. He has Cincinnati as the most interesting team.
Yeah, they get the Ohio State defensive coordinator.
No, I thought it was Golden.
Yeah. You're right. No. You're right. Well, it's going to be make or break now. So
yes, it is.
Hurts winning a Super Bowl now I think adds to the pressure for Lamar and for Burrow. And for Allen, right? And all these guys, and what are they going to do with their careers?
Good point.
They haven't won one yet. All these guys who are top 5 quarterbacks.
I also can look at it this way. That's also bad news for Dak Prescott. Daniels, as a rookie, goes to the NFC title game, and Hurts wins a Super Bowl. You got all that money, and you can't, right?
Yeah. Well, he hasn't won a clutch game yet for them, has he?
And they can't get to the conference title game, right? Sure. Cleveland number 2. What happens with Garrett? What do they do at quarterback? Do more on this coming up. Ward is the favorite to go number 1 in the draft. At all these mocks, I don't see him going number 1. Can he go number 2? Can Sanders follow the Raiders at 6? But we'll see what they do with Garrett. I would trade him and get a haul, but you don't have Watson. He's out. You don't want to play him anyways, and it's just a whole horrible situation with Cleveland.
I think Cleveland would be my number 1 most interesting team. With what are they going to do there at quarterback and defensively? They still have a lot of good parts there, and they still have a great head coach. By the way, this Cincinnati offense is the best offense in football. It's not even close with Zach Taylor, and they can't get anything done because of the defense. It's really a shame. But Cleveland is very interesting. I talked to people that are there in Cleveland, and they're very divided about Garrett. There are people there that say, absolutely, you've got to move him. He doesn't want to be here. And there's people that say there's no way they're going to get rid of him. They're going to call his bluff.
Yeah. Would you?
The teams have all the control, Paul. Mm-hmm. I don't know why everybody caves in. Look what the Heat did with Jimmy Butler. The teams have all the control. Right. The players have no control. Would the players be upset if the ownership came in and saying, we're not going to pay you what we said we were going to pay you? Right. You have to live up to your contract, too.
It's flipped in the NBA. Yep. That's what they have too much control. Patriots number 4. Can they get Higgins? Great coach in Vrabel. $110 million in cap space. Got a good young quarterback. And the Jets are number 5. Rodgers gone. Great prop up at DraftKings we'll get to with Rodgers coming up. New coach in Glenn. Adams probably gone. I don't see it that way. Just a love affair with the Jets and the 4-letter network. I think they're missing a team here, which we'll get to coming up. But
what about the Bears? They're not in this list?
Yeah, damn right they should.
Right?
What is Johnson going to do now?
I would
Did
think
the Vikings take a step back? Darnold's going to be gone. What does McCarthy look like? Can O'Connell do it again? Do the Lions take it? Not only does he leave, he leaves and stays in the division.
The whole division is very interesting.
Damn right it is. Right. I want to see what he can do. I'm intrigued. VSiN fans, your time to plan your Vegas getaway. Derek Stevens offering you 15% off at 3 great properties, Circa, the D, and Golden Gate. Whether you're hanging by the pool or going to the tables, enter your code VSiN15. See all the excitement that Vegas has to offer. Book your stay now. CircaLasVegas.com. Use VSiN15 to get 15% off. Your Vegas adventure starts here. You won't believe what the 49ers said yesterday, and that'll lead into what we're going to talk about with the Niners as well. And there's a great prop up at DraftKings with Aaron Rodgers and also Deebo Samuel. We'll get that around and kick that around, and also some futures that Mike likes as well. All that coming up. A great college basketball card today, and Jeff Seeley with golf coming up. Follow the money. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah. Came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
On the next Numbers Game, it's Joe Serralo in for Gil Alexander. We will talk some college hoops futures, get you ready to bet the Genesis Invitational. Sia Nejad joins the show to do just that with myself, Kelly Bidlin. Matt Cox from 3-Man Weave joins the show to talk college hoops betting for the night. And of course, VSiN's own JVT joining as he usually does on Wednesdays to talk about everything on the NBA card as we get ready to roll into the All-Star break. All that coming up on a Numbers Game, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific.
is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Back on Follow the Money, Paulie Howard, Mike Palm, the $22 million win in the Super Bowl, a record for Nevada Sportsbooks. The previous record, $18 million and change when the Chiefs beat the Niners the first time, 31-20. The handle was down 20%, and last year was a record, $190 million. So fell flat this year. We most people saw it coming. It's unfortunate, but whether it was Chiefs fatigue, whatever it was, that's a breaking news from our own Dave Tooley. Okay, so this has been heating up in the last couple days. Number one, the Niners are going to let Deebo Samuel find a trade partner and see if he's gone. That's why I think Adam Schefter needed to have the 49ers on this list, because the other news is Jed York said, we're excited about the future with Brock Purdy, and we're looking forward to a long-term partnership. Are they making a mistake here by giving him a ton of money and locking him up? That goes back to, I think they need to be top 5 on this list. Did they miss their chance? Is the window closed? All this, what happens to Deebo? Probably gone as well. But it looks like they're going to give Purdy what he wants, and what the owner said. He also said, I have total confidence in Lynch and Shannon that they'll turn this around and get us back on track.
I think this was, we're sort of giving a foreshadowing of this from Montana, Joe Montana this weekend, who in every interview I saw him do over Super Bowl week said they have to pay Brock Purdy. We're not going to go out and get anybody else who's been better than Brock Purdy. Look at this kid's stats for what he's done. You have to pay him. Now, are they going to be able to keep the level of quality around Brock Purdy when they give him that kind of money? We'll see. They've got to retool that defense. The run defense is not good, Paul. It was not good last year.
Right.
And I know it was a very difficult schedule, and a lot of people bet under 11.5, and it wasn't even close. I mean, they were a less than an average team in that division last year. So they've got to retool. And so it starts with Purdy, and then how much do you have left?
Well, there's enough on offense. There's so much talent there. You just you're right about the defense that they fell off. You're going to fix that with Salah back, and then just losing close games, special teams fiascos, kickers getting hurt, turning the ball over.
Too.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you have that as well. But that's the big news. So the question about who you're going to get. You can't go the Raider route where you're just recycling and throwing different people in there and veterans. Nice of Captain Kirk to check in. Oh, I was hurt the whole year. Thanks a lot.
That was never right.
Yeah, right. You could have gone to the staff and said you would have made the playoffs in with Penix. But he was thrown out there maybe if he could still hang on for another year or two. But this has already been ruled out, too, with the Aaron Rodgers thing, where he could wind up. And DraftKings has a great prop about his next team. Now, you got to look and see what state you're in. I believe this is in Colorado, though. But the next team for Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers are 2-1. Then you got the Raiders. Niners, no way that happens now. Oh, please tell me no Vikings. Don't want to see the Favre thing again. Titans plus 750. Colts plus 850. Rams 10-1. That's intriguing. If Stafford calls it quits, what would they do? And then you got the Browns 14-1. Where will Aaron Rodgers play next year? Up at DraftKings. Very good.
Well, why are they so quick to give up on Stafford? Guy's still a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
They want him back. It's his decision, though.
You think so?
If he retires, yeah. They were right there with Philly. Could have won the game.
They score on the last drive.
He had an excellent
They're probably
season.
In the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was a great job by McVay, right? And that defense came on as well. Good for the league is Pittsburgh, Raiders, I would say Cleveland Rams, right like that. Colts, I can't imagine.
Can you imagine the Titans?
No. Oh, God, he's not going to do that.
Not.
No way. He'd rather retire. I mean, go do Jeopardy. You're not going to do that, right? So, Browns, that's another one. That's a bad situation. And the Vikings would just be unfortunate, where you can't do that. But that's an intriguing list with Carroll now in charge of the Raiders if he would do something
and
like
Chip
that.
Kelly.
And the Steelers. Yeah, that's right. Also very good. So then what happens to Russell Wilson then if they move on from him and where he could wind up? So it's always fun with the game of musical chairs in the offseason where these quarterbacks will wind up. They have Deebo, Garrett, Kupp, and Rodgers, all props, next team for those 4 players up at DraftKings. Bill Barnwell had this tweet. We briefly kicked it around yesterday. But he always has the team comes out of nowhere to make the playoffs that's coming off a 3, 4, or 5-win season. And you saw what happened with Washington from 4 wins to NFC title game. A couple years ago it was Cincinnati, and then in between there you had Houston, who went from 3 wins to winning a playoff game as well. Is there someone who's sixth out with a future and or a team that fits Barnwell's criteria that you go back, there's always a team that won 3, 4, or 5 games that makes the playoffs and does some damage. Can you get there with anybody on a future?
Well, the Bears won 5 games, so they qualified there. I think they would be the most likely team out of the group with the quarterback and now what they think is going to be the coach. I can't get there with the Giants, Tennessee.
No?
Not next year.
No Jets?
Not next year. Jets, who are they going to get for quarterback? I mean, that's going to spin it all around.
Why not Jacksonville or Carolina? Or Jacksonville? And I'm with you on the Bears.
I don't think Doug Peterson's the problem in Jacksonville. I really don't. You've got a quarterback that's not an elite quarterback, that you paid to be an elite quarterback, and he's not performed like it in any of his tenure in the NFL. That's the problem in Jacksonville. Not Doug Peterson.
Okay.
So I pass on Doug Peterson.
Carolina, New Orleans. Bad division could sneak in the
I say Carolina's interesting.
Yeah. They closed, and Bryce Young was great.
The kid got a lot better.
Yep. Canales did a great job as well. He did, yeah. Could have something there, too. So teams that fit the criteria. Jacksonville, Tennessee, Raiders, Chicago, New Orleans, Carolina, Jets, Cleveland, and New England. New England's very popular, too, based on how much money they have to spend and a good coach, and you expect if they can get Higgins or some weapons for him, then that becomes intriguing because they have a lot of money to spend.
Could be a winnable division, actually, for them.
That's true. I wouldn't fall over if that happens. That Buffalo was so good last year, but if they take a step back, and what to do with Miami? Is Miami in you cannot be serious?
It's not.
They didn't make it, though.
I didn't make it.
So you were on that, though, with Lombardi.
Yeah.
How bad do they look with that Fangio wins the Super Bowl?
They don't, but that goes back to that barista head coach that doesn't want anybody.
Yes.
Right? These players come, he's too hard on us, and they go to the barista head coach.
Yes.
And he gives them a shoulder to cry on, and they ship Fangio out. Too old school for us. They ate it up in Philadelphia. Those guys ate that coaching up. Yep. I also thought Reed was too long to try to adjust his play calling in the Super Bowl. I think he thought, I beat this guy 8 times, 9 times. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay.
Can I just jump in? There were several people who pointed out that was just a nonsense garbage angle, and they were right about you. Also, what kind of talent does he have, and what's your quarterback? And I mean, come on, you have to throw that stuff out.
Some of that was Denver when he took over as head coach in Denver. Were 4 of those games.
Right. So you were saying though with Reed.
Yeah.
Well, how do you abandon the run though?
I think you got to run traps. You got to run some draws. They're coming with 4 guys right up the field every time on you. Mm-hmm. Maybe have Mahomes do some design runs. I don't know. It did it very well against Buffalo. They weren't looking for it, but they just kept dropping back and getting beat and getting beat and getting beat. I mean, the second quarter was amazing. They just attacked him the whole entire second quarter. They had 1 first down. If you'd have told me Mahomes got hurt the first play of the half, I'd still bet over 23 yards. I mean,
I know.
For God's sakes, Chad Henne had a 97-yard drive to save their season a couple years ago.
I couldn't believe what I was watching. I know. 1 first down, 23 yards.
The first play of the game.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. I can't believe it, how they shut them down.
I was also surprised the very first drive of the half, they had 4th and 9 at their own 45. They didn't go for it. What were you waiting for? Did you think Philadelphia was going to stop scoring? They punted. I thought you had to go there.
Yeah.
You got to get points.
Yeah, another good observation. It was Philly's second half team total, 6.5.
6.5?
Yeah.
Well, it was minus 170. If you played 7.5, it was plus 130. Those were the 2 different lines that were out there.
Yeah. It's like what, are you just going to stop playing? I mean, it's a Super Bowl. You're going to keep going for it. And that's what happened as well. Also, Field Yates with a mock draft. Again, most places Ward's the favorite to go number 1, but most people in the mocks don't have him going number 1. He has Ward going 3rd to the Giants. He has Hunter, Carter, Ward, and he has Sanders going to Las Vegas at 6. I don't think Tennessee goes quarterback. I don't think they're going to do that. I think it'll be Hunter or Carter. I really do. And then I don't know what's going to happen with these quarterbacks. He has Dart going to Pittsburgh. And
I like that kid a lot.
You do?
He's very...
Why?
Huh?
Why do you like him?
I think that the kid is tough. I think Dart is a tough player.
I can't get the Florida game out of my head.
Well, that cost us all a lot of money.
Yeah, right.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
That was...
You're thinking top 15 pick, though.
I don't know. I think the kid will be better than he's thought of.
He's picking up steam. He's in the mix. So
I would have told you Bo Nix would have never been the first round pick.
That's
too.
True.
So.
He has Gentry to Denver. He has Warren to the Colts as well. Interesting stuff there. So that's we'll see what happens as we get closer with all these mocks and what happens with the NFL draft. And sports betting and trading, probability a key to success. Discover the power of high probability trading. Todd Bubba Horowitz, former floor trader and sports bettor, 45 years of experience. BubbaTrading.com/VSiN. Get a free ebook on options trading. Use code VSiN500 to save $500 on any purchase. Great job, BubbaTrading.com/VSiN. Look at this list. Look how many games are circled if you can zoom in. This card tonight in college basketball is nuts with the marquee games. We'll try to fit it all in coming up next on VSiN. Follow the money, the sports betting network.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to VSiN.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
The beer over the wheel.
Great card tonight in college basketball. So many top games. Number one in the AP poll, coaches poll, the top 4 teams in the country all in the SEC. How about that?
Yeah. Used to be football.
That is what.
Even baseball.
That is wild. And you see bracketology, they have 13 teams getting in, according to Joe Lunardi, and you got 1 against 2 on Saturday. We got round 2, Tennessee against Kentucky. Kentucky shocked them in the first meeting. I like the spot here for Tennessee with revenge. Number 1 defense in the nation against the top 5 offense. I think Tennessee gets them here, and I don't like that Kentucky's been horrible defensively. Tennessee, a short road favorite tonight, and a big total, of course, when you're talking about a Kentucky game. So I like Tennessee. I think they get revenge here, and Kentucky's just been horrible defensively.
They're the worst defense in the SEC now,
yep,
Paul.
I know. It's bad.
Oh.
Come on.
And we thought they would say that.
Yeah, you've lost 4 of 6, too.
Yep.
So with Tennessee, also great with how they guard the 3 as well. Certainly you want to see better offense from them, but I think the first time around was a surprise. I think they'll be ready here, and there are 2.5s out there right now, and the totals come down from 150 down to 146 in one of the big SEC games. So we agree Tennessee gets it done?
Oh, yes.
Tennessee wins and covers? Okay. Yeah. Florida and Mississippi State. I hate the spot for Florida. Top 5 team off the big win on the road against Auburn. There were 1.5s out there. Now some picks. I just think, can you do this again and play a great game and go on the road against a ranked opponent? I say no. I think Miss State gets it done. 5-5 in their last 10. Florida's won 5 of 6, 20-3 on the season. But I just think the Bulldogs will beat Florida here. It's hard to asking these kids to go through this gauntlet, this schedule, which you're going to have to do in the SEC. I don't think they're up to the task, even though they're a good squad.
Yeah, I have mixed emotions. I'm probably not going to touch this game, Paul. It is a tough spot, but I really like Florida a lot. I think a team that's this good defensively can do it twice in a row on the road. So I lean Florida, but we'll pass.
Yeah, okay. And how about Alabama? This is their, quote, easy game.
Yeah.
3.5 on the road at Texas. Look at the schedule the rest of the way for Alabama. And this is the easy game. You got Auburn twice. And number 1 plays number 2 Saturday. Then you go to Missouri, ranked, top 20 team. Then you play Kentucky, top 15 team. Then you play Mississippi State, ranked. You go to Tennessee, top 5 team. Then you play Florida, and then you play Auburn again. That's got to be the most difficult way to end the season in the history of college basketball, or any sport, what that is. That's 6 straight ranked opponents, 7, and 4 of them are against top 5 teams. Oh.
And your biggest rival on deck.
Yeah. So
it's a tough look-ahead spot here.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point.
And Texas played Tennessee very well at home, too, so I'm passing on this game.
But also, what are the brackets going to look like with all these teams? And I can't kill you if you go like 500 during that stretch, though.
Let's go to Nashville for the SEC tournament.
Yeah,
that'd be a hell of a 4 days.
I'm in. So if you're going to get 3 1 seeds, I'm not going to complain. I'm like, right now, he's got Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, and Duke as the 1 seeds. He's got A&M, Florida, Purdue, and Houston as the 2 seeds. He's got Arizona, Joe Lunardi, by the way, Texas Tech, Michigan State, and Iowa State as the 3 seeds. Kentucky has dipped to a 4 seed.
They might keep dipping.
Yeah, if they keep playing defense. St. John's now a 4.
Did you watch the game Friday night at Connecticut?
I was
that had like an Elite 8 feel to it, Paul.
Yes.
That's how good and intense. It looked like they're going to get beat by 30 off the jump, didn't it?
Yep. They came out and hit them with a haymaker.
Yeah.
But they were, Patino's been unbelievable this year, and I would think they can do better than a 4 seed as well. How about the big one in the Big Ten? Round 2, Purdue against Michigan. Oh. Michigan, a short home favorite. Purdue beat them up in the first meeting. Purdue was won 11 of 12. Michigan, top 30 offense, 10-2 in the Big Ten. May's done a great job. Fishy line, though, right?
Very fishy. I think May is the best hire of the year, and everybody at Indiana is lamenting that they didn't get rid of Woodson and get May, and would May consider leaving?
They can still do it.
They can still do it. I like Michigan minus 2.5.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
You can get 2 now, right? There's spots that have 2.
Yep.
I
they
do.
pushed them around
That's
the first
fishy.
time.
That is fishy.
Fishy line. I'll give you another. There's a lot of fishy lines.
I like a different game in the Big Ten tonight.
ahead.
I love UCLA.
You do?
They've won 7 in a row since Cronin decided to act like he'd gone insane. He went on like 5 straight rants in the post-game press conferences, and the team is playing great.
Yep.
They're absolutely playing great. That's a lot of points to give them 6.5 tonight at Illinois.
Sure. How about Arizona, Kansas State?
Arizona's
been
coming on. They are really good. And I'm not a Tommy Lloyd guy.
I'm not.
They've been making all the plays in these games, Paul.
Right. But
Going on the road and winning.
Yep, but this is another bad spot where Kansas State's off to win over the rival.
It's a terrible spot for Kansas State.
Yep. That's a great game as well. How about UConn and Creighton? That's your team, Creighton. You got good sources there.
McDermott, yeah. He's from Cascade, Iowa, 25 miles from Dubuque. And he likes to hang out at Legacy. Nice guy.
Who doesn't? Yeah. Right. So Creighton, a short home favorite against UConn as well. Dallin Cuff has an opinion on A&M and Georgia. A&M laying 8 and a couple other fishy lines. Number 1, why is Utah State and there's 4 late games. Why is Utah State only 5.5 at home to Colorado
There's
State?
zero respect for this Utah State team, no matter what they do.
Yeah. Now, they have a hell of a resume, and I'm pissed off they're a 10 seed. But they've lost a couple home games, which is a surprise. They lost to New Mexico, and they lost to UC San Diego, who's a good team. And I think they got Lenardi has them first 4 out, and they had the big win at Irvine over the weekend. But to only be 5.5 against Colorado State, who was bludgeoned in both games against New Mexico. So the record, in conference record, is kind of phony. When they play the big boys, they get their lunch handed to them. And again, I would think Utah State can have a big performance here and San Diego State right on the bubble, laying 6 at San Jose State. San Jose State was on a 17-1-1 ATS run before going to Boise Friday and getting blown out. And your boy Rice got it done.
How many does Lenardi have from the Mountain West in right now?
I think it's 3. I can't remember if he had the Aztecs in or not.
But
he has New Mexico on the 8 line. He has Utah State at 10. I think San Diego State was either their last 4. He's got them last 4 in. I can't get there.
No.
They've had some bad losses.
Really bad losses.
Yep. But they have to get this one tonight. And San Jose State's been unbelievable ATS. St. Mary's, this would be a hell of a game. He's got St. Mary's playing New Mexico in the first round. Winner gets a 1 seed. St. Mary's up to 9.5 against Santa Clara. St. Mary's had the close loss to San Francisco a week back, and they already beat Gonzaga. So it's right there for St. Mary's. It's got a pretty good resume to keep putting wins together and be safely in. And who knows? Get off the 8-9 line, though. Can't be on that 8-9 line and maybe get a 7 or a 6 for St. Mary's. You were one of the first guys on this. Number 1, tournament team. Number 2, hope they get an at-large if they stub their toe. Number 3, can Drake be a Sweet 16 team? 22-2.
They play real. I watch them a lot here, on Saturday afternoons when we come in. They're awfully good, and they're awfully good on the road. So that's why I like them when they have to go play these teams in a neutral or when they go and they play in their conference tournament. Now,
on a long winning streak. We were here when they lost to Illinois, Chicago.
Yeah.
But other than that, they just had that bad stretch where they played a couple bad games, and they're at Illinois State coming up tomorrow, and it's a pick 'em.
I thought Bradley was the best team in the Missouri Valley going into the year, but this kid that took all these players with him, 4 starters with him from Northwest Missouri.
Yep.
They've been dynamic. And, they went into all these preseason tournaments, and they were getting 10, 10.5, 11 points and winning them all straight up. So you could say that they were tested outside the conference as well. I think their resume is good enough to get in at large if they don't win it because of what they did in November and December.
Yeah. And this is a great league that wins games in March. And what is it, 5 of the last 6 years, it's been a 1-bid league. It's outrageous.
They killed Vandy in the finals of that tournament they were in, the Shriners. Right? Vandy's a bubble team right now. Beat Kansas State. I mean, that's a decent win over a Power 4 team.
Other than if you're gonna go through that league and you only have 1 or 2 conference losses, I got to put Houston minus $2 to win the Big 12. Arizona plus 210. Duke minus 1,400 to win the ACC.
It's a really bad ACC. It's only Duke and Clemson. That's
Memphis minus 1,200 to win the American Athletic. Purdue plus 110, Michigan State plus 240, Michigan plus 280, Auburn's minus 260 to win the SEC, VCU minus 210 to win the Atlantic 10 might only be a 1-bid league. That's too bad. St. John's minus 240, St. Mary's up to $9 to win the West Coast, New Mexico minus 350 to win the Mountain West. Utah State the second choice there. Those are up available at DK. Sports betting never slows down. Neither should you with the Daytona 500 coming this weekend. PGA Tour underway. MLB season. March Madness right around the corner. No shortage of action to wager on. Start betting smarter with a VSiN Pro subscription. As little as $9.99. You get the daily email from Bill 80. Every pick, every host, every guest, the deep dive stats and the insights, and great analysis to help you make the smartest picks. Go to vsin.com/subscribe. Full access today for only $9.99, and the prop analyzer is worth it alone. Win some, lose some coming up next. One upset in college and in the NBA, and one big line move that got there. And it's Top 5 Tuesday. In light of what happened Sunday, we ranked the top 5 worst Super Bowls. Straight ahead from Circa, baby, downtown Las Vegas, Sirius XM, Channel 158, VSiN. Follow the money.
Got a good thing coming, just wait and see. It's a good.
Sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Thunder kicking ass and taking names from 14.5 up to 17.5. They cover. Kings plus 2.5 to minus 1.5. DeRozan with the big shot in overtime. They win by 1. And that is just an ugly scene in Dallas. RJ Choppy from the Fan tomorrow. You're kicking people out of games in arenas for holding up signs, fire the GM? This is ridiculous. So a guy, they show him on a Jumbotron, right? He mouths fire Nico. You're throwing people out now? Oh, this is bad. You know, they're hanging in there.
I might have some thoughts on that at 2:15.
Okay, very good, very good. I can't believe it. NBA favorites 8-2 ATS last night. Hawks, the dog that gets there, plus 210. They're not supposed to win games. They traded some good players, and they're playing well. And one upset in college hoops, Northwestern State, plus 265. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in, we'll put you in. You see me on X as well. You want to send the people acting like fools at the airport, taking up the whole row on the plane, whatever you want to do. Look at this. Let's go to Florida. Got the beagle comes out, right? The alligator's right on the porch. And then here comes the beagle. Get out of here. Not up in here. Starts barking at him, and the alligator gets freaked out and goes right back in the water. Good for you, buddy. Big fella. That beagle could use a salad. But any event, that's a great job. The owner's peeking around, scared. Uh-oh, we got an alligator. Here comes the beagle. Yeah, what of it? Get lost. And I've never seen a gator scoot that fast. I didn't know they could move like that.
I was going to say they don't move for the rhinos, but for the hippos, but that's crocodiles in Africa.
Very good. All right, and how about this one with the bulldog? Look at the French bulldog hauling ass on the golf cart and trying to catch the golf cart on the course. He is moving, man. And this guy, as Dr. Gebhardt said, they are the most loyal dogs. When he adopted his French bulldog, okay, I'll take it in, I'll make it, but you can't sleep in the bed. Night one in the bed. Been that way ever since. Gotta love French bulldogs, and here's the guy getting after it, hauling ass on the golf course. Phenomenal. Ready to try something different? Sign up, start playing the ponies on First Bet. First Bet U.S. base offers wagering in hundreds of races every day across the country and around the world. FirstBet.com, promo code VSiN200. Claim a 20% rebate for your first 60 days. Up to $200. Head to FirstBet.com today. Top 5 Tuesday.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a top. You ain't first, you're last. 5.
That's not enough, Dad!
Tuesday.
I've been ready for this my whole life.
Top 5 Tuesday. Dollar bills, y'all. Follow the money.
I was born in the 70s, so I can't go that far back with these. My first sports memory is Marcus Allen touchdown against Washington in the Super Bowl. Do you know your first sports memory? 84 World Series?
No.
Something with the Cubs, 84?
No.
No?
I was watching sports long before that, Paul.
What's your fourth?
My first Super Bowl I remember is on this list.
All right.
But the one you just mentioned is too.
All right. Top 5 worst Super Bowls. This one was over early. Seattle destroys Denver, 43-8. The safety, right off the bat. Tony Miller at the Golden Nugget telling his boss, Tillman Fertitta, we're in a hole we can't get out of. Because people had safety, people had first score, that was 100-1, and Seattle opens up a can and takes them out. There was a kickoff return in that game. There was a lot going on, the weather. I think it was the Chili Peppers performed as well. Niners, Chargers. Now, there was drama late because the point spread was so big. But 49ers win and cover, but it was 14-0 5 minutes into the game. This is a total mismatch, but oh, what a time to be alive. It's too bad I didn't live here at the time because that was almost a 20-point favorite. Yet
18.5.
Yeah, okay. With $3 on the money line, though, because all the San Diego fans that came to town. Bears, Patriots, 85, 46-10. Patriots, again, benefited from a lot of turnovers. Fortunate they made the Super Bowl, and the Bears, best defense of all time. That was a total mismatch. And this, again, this Mike Florio tweeted from Pro Football Talk during the game Sunday. This is what used to happen every year in the 70s and 80s. It was always a blowout. Number 2, Niners-Broncos, 55-10. This one was over early and total blowout. Number 1, Dallas and the Bills, 52-17. Again, it was a regular occurrence that we had blowouts. Top 5 worst Super Bowls. That's my list. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, we have a few disagreements.
We do, sure.
A few common. I think we have 2 common. All right, my number 5 is 1999, Super Bowl 33 in Miami. Broncos 34, Falcons 19. This, to me, was a Super Bowl I was already going into pissed off because the Vikings had lost.
Fair.
So I already was mad about it. And then, look, it was 34-19. It was 31-6 early in the fourth. This game was a blowout. Don't let the final score deceive you.
Point.
Falcons had no shot in this game.
Excellent setup. We wanted as football fans 15-1 against 14-2.
100%.
Yep.
My number 6 that didn't make the list, well, or maybe it didn't make the list because my father rejoiced in the Bears. But that year also, we were supposed to get the rematch with Miami, the only team to beat the Bears, and they lost to New England in the AFC Championship game. That was supposed to be Bears-Dolphins too, the only team that had beaten them in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And then it didn't happen. Okay, my number 4 is the game that you referenced, your earliest memory, because you're a little younger than me. Marcus Allen running for the touchdown in Tampa Bay against the Redskins. That's my number 4. Super Bowl 18, 1984 in Tampa Bay. Look, the Redskins were 14-2. Their record going into that game, they had won like 38 of 41 games. I mean, it was something ridiculous how they had come through this thing. They were the favorite. They're the only favorite that lost on my list here. They were a 3-point favorite. And remember, Theismann throws the interception right before the half. It's 21-3 Raiders, and it's over. Huge upset that game. Yes. All right, my number 3 is my earliest Super Bowl memory.
Okay.
Super Bowl 12, 1978. Cowboys 27, Broncos 10, in a game that featured 10 turnovers.
What?
8 by the Denver Broncos.
No.
4 interceptions and 4 lost fumbles. Remember, it's the only co-MVPs, Randy White and Harvey Martin, 2 defensive players. Get it? Staubach wasn't great, but it was a coronation as he kind of rode off into retirement. It was a horrible, horrible game. 10 turnovers, Paul.
Oh.
Played in the Louisiana Superdome.
Got to be on the list.
All right, now the 2 that you had on the list that I have on the list are 2 and 1. Super Bowl 24, 1990, also from the Superdome. 49ers 55, Broncos 10. Total domination in this game, 27-3 at the half. They were a 12-point favorite, but to me, even worse was the Chargers game, Super Bowl 29 and 95 at Joe Robbie. You said 14-0 early, 28-10, and then the Chargers get back into it. They have a punt return and a 2-point play and all that, but 49, I thought we knew going in it was an 18.5-point spread. It was going to be a terrible game. Mm-hmm. They had gone into Pittsburgh with Harbaugh and upset the Steelers. It was a game that we were looking for, and so, you know.
Humphreys, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, Humphreys. And, you know, I just thought it was an awful game. I stopped watching it midway through the second quarter. It was that bad. Picked it back up in the fourth. But
that happened so many times. Such
you were
a
right.
Disappointment.
I mean, the NFC went through a run there, where they won like 9 straight. 8 out of the 9 were all 3-score games.
Buffalo didn't compete in 3 of them. Washington blew them out. Dallas blew them out twice. Right.
Yeah.
You should have beat the Giants.
The first game, I ranked that as the best Super Bowl of all time, wide right. To me, it was the greatest Super Bowl of all time. The setting, what was it? The Gulf Desert Storm in the Gulf War, the Whitney Houston national anthem, the flyover, it's in Tampa Bay, and then it was just a hell of a game where they just let Buffalo dink and dink and dunk down the field.
Then Thurman Thomas couldn't find his helmet?
No, that was the Cowboys. Cowboy 2 was when Thurman Thomas and his backup fumbled. Right?
Excellent.
And there's also the story about the shuffle pass. They kept running the shuffle pass, and Dallas kept stopping it and kicking field goals because Jimmy Johnson had watched on a local newscast in Atlanta them talk, and they were at the practice of the Bills, and they saw him running this shuffle pass. And he asked my coaches. They went through the whole year. They had never run the shuffle pass. They ran it 3 times in the first half. Twice they stopped it on 3rd down and forced field goals to stay in the game. And then they came out, the Cowboys, with the ball in the second half, and they had that drive where Emmitt Smith ran it 9 times right down their throat. Mm-hmm. Took over the game.
There's a lot you can throw on this list. Tampa putting it on the Raiders.
You could argue
a lot happened in that game, though.
I had that on my almost list.
Yeah, I could see that.
You could have put the Ravens-Giants game on, but
that's a good one.
It's all the punt, but the sheer defense of the Ravens, you could enjoy watching that game. But it was a bad game with Kerry Collins.
Yep. I'll tell you what, it was a great finish. I thought Rams-Titans was horrible for 3 quarters.
I won a big Super Bowl square.
Did you?
On that game. Yeah, I hit a $2,500 final score. Came a yard from blowing it all. Going to overtime, blowing it all.
Good list, though. Strong. Boy, we've had some bad ones. Ooh. go back. And then, like you said, though, a couple weeks ago, you cannot be serious. With the Vikings would never show up in these games. Couldn't score.
They never scored a point in the first half of any Super Bowl that they were in.
16-0. So, look at some of the scores when they were in.
Dallas beat Miami 23-3 in one of the early ones. But we don't remember those. We weren't alive.
Right. But with some of these, though, at least a lot of chaos happened, and the prop standpoint as well. All right, he did it. Jeff Seeley cashed a big one. Burger top 5, 20-1. Can he do it again? We'll go out to the Genesis. Torrey Pines coming up next.
And we're out.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I need to load funds into my gaming apps.